In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a level 1 Dungeons & Dragons character. In the video, I'll be making a level 1 elf monk, but the instructions can be used to make any character that you want. One of the most important things that you need while playing Dungeons & Dragons is a set of dice. If you can't find any dice, there are several online resources that will roll the dice for you. You will also need to download and print off a character sheet. You can do this by searching for Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons character sheet. The first result that pops up will take you to the Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons website. Here, if we scroll down, we can find the 5th edition character sheets. By clicking the image, it'll download a zip file containing several variants of the character sheet. Once the zip file is done downloading, we want to open it up, unzip it, and then open the file called Character Sheet Complete. This file contains all 3 pages of the character sheet so that it's easy to download and print off. The first page contains the stats, features, and abilities of your character. The second page contains a lot of the character background. This page is where you're able to get into depth about what your character looks like and how they may act. The third page contains the spells and cantrips that your character can cast if you choose a spellcasting class. You will also need a copy of the player's handbook. You can find this on the Wizards of the Coast website where we found the character sheets. If you Google Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook 5e, you'll find pirated copies of the Player's Handbook, and you should not download these. The first step in creating a character is choosing a race. For this video, I'm going to play as an elf. So going to the elf section of Chapter 2, I can find many of the features and traits of an elf. You can come up with a name on your own or use one of the provided lists. It is important to read this section carefully, as each race has unique traits. We will now write the information we got from the race section onto the character sheet. Because the elf trait gives an ability score of +2 to dexterity, I will write a +2 in the dexterity ability score in the left-hand column. I have written the basic information of my character, such as name, race, class, and level, at the top part of the sheet. I am also given proficiency in the perception skill due to my keen senses trait. I will mark this by bubbling in the circle to the left of the skill in the skills section. Now that I've written all the basic trait information of the elf race, I can now choose a elf subrace, which will give me additional traits and features. I've chosen to play as a wood elf subrace. This section will give me additional features which I have written on the first page, similar to how we wrote the elf traits. The next step in creating a character is choosing a class. A class is the job your character will have in the party. Like races, each class is different, so I encourage you to read through every class and find one that interests you. For this character, I want to play as a monk, so I'm going to go to the monk section of Chapter 3. Here I find the characteristics of a monk. Most classes will have a chart at the beginning of the section that simplifies the features and progression of the class as you level up. Under class features, I can find my hit points, which is my health, the armor I start off with, my weapons, tools, saving throws, and skills. I'm also given options of my starting equipment. From the chart at the beginning of the section, I see that I start with a feature of unarmored defense and martial arts. I can now write this information on my character sheet. Starting with my saving throws, I will bubble in the strength and dexterity saving throw, since this is what the class features told me I was proficient in. I will also write my hit dice, which is 1d8, in the hit dice section in the middle of the page. Then I will write the equipment that I start off with in the equipment section at the bottom of the page. Now we will use our dice to roll the ability scores of our characters. It is important to roll all 6 of your abilities before assigning which ability gets what value. The method I like to use when rolling ability scores is to take 4d6, roll all 4 of them, and take the 3 highest. The sum of these dice is 1 ability score. On my first roll, I rolled 2 1s, 1 2, and 1 4. I will write this number down and repeat this process 5 times. Now that I've rolled all of my ability scores, I can assign the values to the abilities. I will also use the ability score modifier chart in the handbook to determine my ability score modifiers, which I write in the oval underneath the ability. I will also now fill in my modifier scores for my skills by writing the modifier from my ability next to the skill with the associated ability, adding my proficiency bonus to any skills that I am proficient in. I will repeat this for my saving throws. Using my ability scores and the information in my class features, I can now fill in my armor class, initiative modifier, and my current hit points. My initiative modifier is my dexterity modifier. I can now record my starting equipment information. This section will give you information on how much starting money you have, as well as information on your starting equipment and weapons. I wrote my starting gold of 15 in the gold section of the equipments, as well as the attack information for the short sword that I chose from my class equipment. The last step in creating a character is choosing a character background. In Chapter 4, you will find character details and background information for a variety of different characters. For my character, I chose the Hermit background, which comes with additional starting equipment, proficiencies, and features. I will then go back and record this on my character sheet. You now have a functioning level 1 character that you can play in any campaign for Dungeons & Dragons.